this is it. It's happening. The moment we've all been waiting for. I'm actually recording this on Sunday when I am in fact 22 weeks instead of waiting until Monday morning to record this. Everyone be proud of me. I'm just kidding. I'm proud of me. And that is good enough. But I do appreciate your guys' support. Speaking of which, there's a number of new people here and I just want to say welcome. I am doing a couple of things today in this update, but we are 22 weeks today, and I am going to be answering a few questions for everyone, as well as giving you the general baby update.
Well, the moment you felt you could start over new was the same that you realized the stories were true. You opened your eyes and the world you could see wasn't dim, it was brighter. You'd have to agree. Oh, now your fears are gone. They were buried with the dawn. And oh, now you feel alive for the very first time. Oh, now your fears are gone. They were buried with the dawn. And oh, now you feel alive for the first time. Not hold me yet. Not hold me yet. No, you're not hold me yet. No, not hold. But you finally found the way.
So the first thing for the baby update is the baby's size. This week, baby is the size of an ear of corn. I've been eating a lot of corn lately. Okay, so for general updates, I have noticed myself being a little bit gassier, like burping a lot more. And I don't know if that's just like not eating great after coming back home and all of that kind of stuff, or if it's just like being gassier in general. From my last update, everything is still flowing good in the digestive system region besides the burpiness, so that's really a positive. Additionally, I've been breaking out on my face a lot more, and I do not know if that's related to starting my new job or if that's related to like the baby. I'm not really sure. I've also got like pimples on my shoulders a lot more, which I don't know what that's about either. So I washed my face tonight and then I did a lip scrub just for funsies. And then I'm going to take a shower tomorrow and like wash my hair and everything because you can't see it, but she needs it. So I'm going to wash my hair and all of that good jazz and hopefully figure out if it's like an oily thing or if it's just a baby thing. I don't know. I've been getting kicked way more recently. I can also feel like I just don't remember this, but it probably happened with Gabriel. I'd have to go back and watch, but then again, maybe I didn't remember to document it. Who knows? But like don't remember him being as like active or feeling him inside or outside a lot. He was just like chill, like he just kind of hung out, which was admittedly a little annoying. The only thing that I do remember about like his movements was that his hiccups were so obnoxious. I could not imagine how obnoxious they were for him because they were so obnoxious for me. I was not a fan of his hiccups, and that I remember. But he sits on like my bladder and like my other organs and like thus makes the muscles tighten up because she like moves all the way to one side of my uterus, and it's just really weird to me because I'm not used to that. And again, maybe it happened before and I just don't remember, or maybe it's just like the first time mom not really noticing things and I was kind of out of it because life. But now I'm like, good Lord, like the whole time through the movie, she's just like kicking me. Of course, as soon as I try to put Gregory's hand on my stomach, she's like, no more, which seems to be common. I have gotten asked for a couple of like routine videos and things like that, and so to kind of start off the question and answer section bit that I'm going to be doing, it is my intention to show you my routine. That's what I show you in vlogs. But the thing is, I don't have much for routines. My routine is just like my weeks go a a certain way, if that makes sense. I'm not like, my routine is like, at some point in the afternoon, Gabriel gets a nap. At some point in the morning, we get up. At some point after that, we get breakfast. But like, there's no like even set schedule of how we do those things. Like, sometimes he has lunch before his nap. Sometimes he has it after his nap. So what I'm wondering, I guess, is what do you want to see in terms of routine? Because in my mind, I'm like, I don't have like a 20-step bedtime routine or any real bedtime routine. Basically, oh, you're tired? Maybe we were playing before that. Maybe we went on a walk before that. Maybe he had been watching TV with dad before that. Like, there's no real, like, it could be 8 o'clock. It could be 10 o'clock. Like, there's no routine at this point. The only routine is that we talk Gabriel through everything that we do. We've gotten really into doing this because I've noticed that it's been really, really helping him. So he's 18 months, almost 19, and it's just in the past like couple of weeks that I've noticed that when I explain things to him, he responds, usually not immediately, but better, if that makes sense. So like, I mean, always I've tried to explain things to him, but a lot more recently in terms of like, okay, not just, okay, mom's cooking, you have to leave the kitchen, but look, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to pick up this knife that you can't touch and I'm going to put it on the cutting board and I'm going to do this. And like kind of going through the steps of the processes that I'm going through on the daily basis, or really explaining to him like why we aren't or are doing something. So this is just a really good example. Like if I say, okay, we're going to do this and then we're going to go on a walk, then I need to follow through on that going on a walk. Or if something comes up where I can't, I have to explain to him, hey buddy, I know I told you we were going to go on a walk, but we can't go on a walk because of this, and find another way to fill that time. Because in his mind, he's going on a walk. I don't know how he remembers it and how he conceptualizes that, but he is. Anyway, so that's the most like routine thing that we do during the day. But it's kind of like hard to show that because I don't have my camera out during those moments most of the time. Maybe I should just pull out my camera more in general and just have it like filming. And then when those moments happen and I happen to be where the camera is, like I can get them. But I'm not going to disrupt my life in terms of parenting to show those routine things. If it's easy to show, that's one thing. Like, we get up and then we brush our teeth and then we do this and then we do that. Like, we do all of those things, but some days we forget them and some days they just get swapped around or what have you. So what do you want to see in terms of routine? Be as specific as you can, and I can let you know if I can do those things, or how I can modify it to actually do something similar. Lots of the questions, if you don't see an answer to the question that you asked specifically, they're in my Trying to Conceive video. That really explains everything for a lot of these questions. But I just noticed like there are a few floating around out there that people were asking like in general that I just wanted to answer. So the next question is, what do baby kicks feel like? And honestly, this is not going to be the answer that anyone wants, but I don't know how to explain it. I really don't. Like, there's a point in time where you're not pregnant and you can feel like your organs moving, like not gurgling, not like your stomach gurgling, but you'll feel like a pop almost. That's what most of the kicks feel like now that I'm 20 some weeks. It's not what they felt like before, and I can't describe that feeling at all. Like, there's no real good way to explain it, but it's like if you take someone, like if you flick your arm, but from the inside, like just slightly flick your arm. Like, that's the amount of like pain pressure ratio. I don't know any better way to describe it. So if you've been pregnant and you have a better way to describe what baby kicks feel like, please drop that down below, because I don't know exactly how to explain it. My favorite part of this pregnancy is not feeling like absolute crap and being in a home. So it's like two parts. I didn't feel super crappy with Gabriel. felt emotionally, I think, more crappy because of the unstable environment that I was in. Not that it was negative in any way, but just like I didn't have a home, and there were a lot of just questions surrounding where I was going to be and when I was going to be there. And I tried not to stress about them, but it was still like there in my mind. Whereas, like, we're just here. We'll buy a house whenever we buy a house. Like, I'm not worried. There's no need to move, and I feel stable here. So that has been really nice. Another question is, does stretching hurt? Like, on when your skin stretches for your stomach, does it hurt? Or even just your body in general? So I have really weird like commentary on this. First of all, I have like lost a lot of weight at the beginning of the year before we started trying to I say as a loose term, to have a baby. Like right at the beginning of the year, because I went back to like a physical job rather than like an at-home computer type job. And so I lost a lot of weight from just like running around and not eating in general. So healthy, I know. Um, and then I had a really hard time putting that back on. But I mean, at the beginning of my last pregnancy too, I also lost a lot of weight and then had a hard time putting it on until the end. So for me, my body fluctuated a lot more. So it hadn't really, and having already had a baby, I've explained the whole thing about my skin in my last pregnancy update video. So if you're wondering about this extra skin thing I'm going to go into, if you want more in depth on the extra skin thing, go back to my 21-week video. But essentially, because I had a bunch of extra skin already, it doesn't itch nearly as bad, but the first time around it did itch a lot more. But it wasn't like hurting. It was not comfortable all of the time, but most of the time you didn't notice it because it's a slow grow. It's like, because you're slowly growing a baby over 9 months rather than it just happening overnight, the toll on your body is not less, but it's easier to take. Which, as a side note, is why we should give ourselves a slow rolling period to lose that weight, or for our body to kind of go back to what it was to a degree before having a baby. And we should not put any extra pressure on it because it took us 9 long months. At least give yourself 9 long months after. But unrelated, what are you looking forward to in this pregnancy? I don't know. I'm looking forward to giving birth, to be quite real with you, which is not in pregnancy. I'm just trying to enjoy the pregnancy as it is, instead of like, oh, I look forward to this next thing. I am looking forward to like having a bigger bump and a bigger baby just in general, because it's fun to feel, and it's like such a small period of time in that baby's life that it's easy to forget. So I am looking forward to that. Is there any specific way that I can like make the baby kick? And the answer is no. She does what she wants when she wants it. Next question. Do people ever ask to feel your belly, and how do you react to that? If people are going to touch my stomach, they're just going to like reach out and do it, and then they're going to be like, oh, wait, is that okay? And then I'm like, you're halfway there. I'm not going to stop you. I don't say it like that, but it's more just like, oh yeah, that's fine. And then I'm like, oh, okay. But it's happened like twice this pregnancy. It's hard to say because I don't remember with my last pregnancy, to be quite honest, if people tried to like touch my stomach. But just in general, I like to not be touched. It's weird. But the one thing that people have been commenting on a lot recently is, oh, you're so small, which really makes me upset because I feel like I am doing a good job of putting on weight and growing this baby. Because as I have mentioned, it is difficult for me. But at the same time, I kind of think that those people think I'm more pregnant than I am, so I try to cut them some slack. But it really just, like, I don't know why, but it just bothers me at my core. So, I don't know. What is my worst pregnancy symptom? Just nausea in general, I don't like. The 2 weeks of not being able to do anything with Gabriel was probably the worst in terms of, like, I just felt so useless and not like myself. But, like, not nearly as bad as, like, painful contractions around ligament pain or lightning crotch. Like, all those things hurt way worse. You know, they're much more inconvenient. But they were, like, short-lived, I think, in comparison, versus, like, the 2 solid weeks in my brain that I remember being, like, basically dead most of the time. Not fun. Next question is, do I think baby will come early, late, on time, etc.? really hope that she comes on her due date. On the day, the 18th. Thank you. That would be really nice. I could take the 17th, but I would prefer the 18th. Simply, like, I could go into labor on the 17th and then give birth to her on the 18th. That would be great. Just because it fits for my time frame, but I know that she will not listen to my time frame because, again, she does what she wants when she wants to do it. So as long as I get to 36 weeks, preferably 37, I really don't care. But I don't have a feeling one way or another. Just like when people ask if I think it's a boy or a girl, I don't have a feeling one way or another. The only reason I refer to her as she is just because at the beginning of my pregnancy, it was so very different from Gabriel, and just like in general, feels like a very different baby, own individuals. But even so, that she could still be a boy. I just refer to her as she because it's a lot easier to differentiate that, oh, if I'm saying she, there's no other she but potentially the baby. So, but I have no inkling as to when she's going to come, if it's going to be a boy or a girl. I have no clue. I genuinely have no clue. Does the baby ever move like really, really quickly? And the answer is yes. And sometimes it feels like repeated like tapping almost. Where like I've thought in my head before, because I'm terrible and I'm a paranoid mom, I've just been like, I really hope that she's not like having seizures or something, which is like one of the most uncommon things that could happen to your baby in the womb, and she's fine otherwise. She's not like sluggish or slow or anything like that, obviously, but like just in general, like sometimes it'll be like a rapid tapping. I obviously don't remember that with Gabriel. He really did not move much, I feel like. This is for real the last question that I just kind of get asked by people a lot is, how are you doing? I don't know how to answer that question. I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't know how to answer that question. In general, I feel great. I feel pregnant, but in like a good way. Like I enjoy being pregnant. Yes, my back hurts. Yup, my feet hurt. Like my belly's in the way. Sometimes I feel super huge while at the same time feeling super small. But also, like, I'm not in constant pain for the most part. I can eat pretty much what I want in terms of, like, I don't feel sick when I eat most things. Tonight specifically, my sense of smell was super, super heightened, which was just weird because it was really random and out of the blue. But, like, in general, it's pregnancy. It is. I don't think of that in a negative way, but more just like you have symptoms. Just like some women can tell that they're ovulating because they have symptoms, or women can tell that they're going to get their period because they have symptoms. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's uncomfortable. Like, or painful even. Like, some people don't have painful periods. Some people, ovulation's really painful, but most people it's not. But they can still tell it's happening, and they're like, yeah, my body is processing and doing what it needs to do, and I'm happy about that because it means that I'm functioning well, and I'm happy about that. In the same way, like, yeah, these symptoms, they happen, they exist. And that means that my body is doing what it needs to do, and it's growing my baby, and I'm happy about that. I'm very happy about that, and I'm very excited. And more lately, I've been so excited to see my little baby, and I'm just ready to have like a little baby again. And I think that in the past week, with growing with Gabriel and getting to the point where we can like communicate with him better, like whether or not he fully understands it, he seems to understand it. He seems to respond to the things that we say, even if it's not an immediate response. Later in the day, down the line, whatever, whether it's verbally, through his actions, emotionally, he responds to the things that we say. And because I can better understand his emotions and his responses and the things that he's saying and asking for, I feel not only like a better mom, but also like, and this is going to sound horrible and weird all at the same time, but that I love him more. Not that I loved him any less, but it's easier to love him. Because the thing that, parents always say is like, I love my kids, I love them with my whole heart, I would like die for them, all that kind of stuff. But they drive me crazy, or they do this thing that's really frustrating, or sometimes I get to my wit's end. Not that those things don't happen, but they're so much lessened, like decreased by the fact that I can understand him better, or we just have like and understanding together, that we're willing to work through things together, that the love just feels so much more amplified because it's not overshadowed by this huge, guilt or shame or frustration or anger or any of those other feelings, because I know I feel good about it and I know he feels good about it because he's getting the things that he needs and wants and he's happy. And that just makes me even happier. So it's really weird, but it's really cool. And that just makes me excited because obviously, developmentally things change and they progress and they regress sometimes, but I mean, not to like a dangerous point, but like, sometimes we talk about like kids go back in behavior where like 18 months can sometimes be the golden period for some kids. And then at 2 years, they kind of seem to like fall apart. Just because they're introduced to more in themselves that they didn't know they had. They had such a good handle on what they knew they had. And then there's this more words, more emotion, more whatever it is, more freedom, more ability to do things, more skills. And then now they have to reprocess it all. And it's really frustrating for them. So, and sometimes kids are really good at handling that, and sometimes they're not. And that's okay. And sometimes it's not as dramatic as with other kids. Sometimes they don't have like a day where they just can suddenly speak sentences and they're like, oh my gosh, I can communicate so well now. And they get frustrated because now they can communicate with you and they were upset that you couldn't understand them all along. But anyway, it makes me really excited because I think if, he and I obviously are going to have bad days, but if we can keep kind of going on this track of listening to each other as I try to learn how to be a good parent and a better parent for him specifically, I think I'll have more success when we have a baby too. And, learning to listen when that baby gets to that age. And yeah, I don't know. It makes me excited. So it's going to be good. Everything's going to be great. Whether or not it's easy, it will be good. Not that I think it's going to be easy. I do think it will be difficult, but anyhow, let's wrap this video up. So that was my 22-week pregnancy update for baby number 2. There are some of you that have just been here since like I was pregnant with Gabriel, and I just want to say thank you because I was thinking about you all today and how awesome you are to follow me through everything, and I just appreciate you guys. And those of you who are new here, I just really appreciate you being here. I don't know, I felt really in my element lately, and I wanted to thank you guys because I have been thinking about you and I just wanted to say thank you. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell down below so that you can get notifications for when more videos come out. And we will see you next time. Love, Genevieve.